Elizabeth has 40 acres on a slope on the foothills of the coastal mountains in Oregon. Much of the forest was logged for conifers, and her prairies had been used for grazing in the past.
Why did you buy the property?
I bought the property because I saw this listing and I couldn't stop thinking about it. So I called my realtor and asked if we could place an offer and wrote a letter explaining what I'd like to do, that I wasn't interested in building, but I was interested in doing some land restoration. A day later, I found out that I was the one whose offer was accepted, and that was in 2021.
I came onto this project in 2022 when Elizabeth hired the Institute for Applied Ecology to write a restoration plan. And it was exciting to see this property because it's very important ecologically. She has an oak woodland with old growth Oregon white oaks, which are very rare, and they provide wonderful value for wildlife. They're acorns, and they're also very fire resilient because of their thick bark. They can actually withstand wildfires. She also has 2 streams on the property, a riparian forest and a upland prairie with some beautiful prairie species like Oregon iris and hairy cat's ear. And this is exciting because 99% of Oregon's grasslands have been lost, so restoring this will be very important ecologically. Another reason why Elizabeth's property is so important for restoration is because it's right on the wildland-urban interface. And that means that right where her property ends is where the developed city begins. So her property can act as a refugia for wildlife that have been pushed out of those developed areas. It also means when there's wildfire, if you manage her property to reduce that, you're not going to have large fires coming in to very developed areas.
My vision for the property is to make it a site of not just land restoration, but also a site where people can understand the mutual relationships between people and trees and other plants. I'm especially interested in cooking and food. My hope is to plant a lot of native edibles so that people can learn more about them and maybe cook with them, I
hope. This property has a lot of Himalayan blackberry, which you can see behind me. It makes wonderful, tasty berries. Unfortunately, it tends to invade areas that used to once be open prairie. And that's a habitat that is really quite rare. So here on this property, we're going to try to cut back this shrub and bring in some more native prairie species. One of the concerns at Elizabeth's property is false brome. This is a non-native grass that takes over and nothing else can really grow where it grows. So you can see it just becomes an entire carpet under all of the trees. And one of the ways it does this is by creating a thatch layer. And it's so thick that there's really no exposed soil at all. So no native plants can really come up where false brome is coming up. What we're looking at here is a fallen Oregon white oak. Now, Oregon white oaks can grow a really long time, up to 500 years. So why has this one died? Well, the reason for that is because of the trees that you see around us. Here to the right is a Douglas fir, and to my left is a big leaf maple. Both of these trees grow much faster than Oregon white oak. So what's happened is they've shot up, taken the canopy, and outcompeted this oak. So what we're trying to do here at Elizabeth's property is remove some of these trees and thin out the forest to allow these white oaks to survive.
The first step in the restoration has been managing the Himalayan blackberry and the false brome. What's really exciting is in the areas where we've managed to kill these invasive species, we're actually seeing native plants coming up all on their own. We've also been removing trees from the prairies and from around the edges of the prairies, and this also helps Oregon white oak because it doesn't like to be shaded out. So by removing the trees, we're reducing competition for them as well.
What has the restoration process been like for you?
Very, very educational and inspiring and relaxing, if that makes any sense, because I don't feel pressure to do things a certain way. It's very collaborative. And so that's felt really exciting, that the decisions are made based on a lot of back and forth, and I can learn at the same time about the process. So I've enjoyed the process.